Okay, let's unpack this. We're looking at something really fascinating today. It's a question that feels, well, it feels totally personal, but the answers we found are surprisingly universal.
Yeah.
The question is, what was the best meal you have ever had?
And you expect, these wild stories about five-star restaurants, fancy techniques.
Right? Truffle foam, molecular gastronomy, all that stuff. But the sources we went through, they tell a completely different story. A much more, I guess, human story.
That's exactly it. What came out of all this material wasn't a list of expensive foods. It was a pattern, a really powerful, clear pattern.
And that pattern was,
Simplicity. The meals that stick with us, the ones that are just burned into our memory, are almost always the simple ones.
so our mission today is to figure out why. To go beyond the food on the plate and really distill what makes these specific, humble meals create such powerful, lasting
We're
memory.
connecting food, emotion, and context. Here's where we're going to dive in deep. We're focusing on two main stories from the material. The first one is a birthday spaghetti meal from childhood.
A long time ago.
And the second one is much more recent, a simple picnic in a park during the summer. And this is where it gets really interesting because we're exploring how the feeling of the moment elevates simple food to best ever status.
Right. And I think the key takeaway from the very start is that a meal is never, ever just food.
No.
It's a memory. It's a feeling. And, most importantly, it's often a marker of connection. These simple dishes are like vessels holding these really complex emotions.
More powerful than any gourmet dish could be.
Way more powerful.
Okay, let's jump in. Section 1. The flavor of nostalgia. That birthday spaghetti.
Right.
So the memory is set when the person was 7 years old. It's his birthday. He's at his grandmother's house. That right there, that's a foundation of safety, of tradition.
It really is. And the sources point out something we all kind of know intuitively.
Right.
Grandmothers are cited as the best cooks.
Universal.
It's universal. And that title, best cook, it's not about technical skill, is it? It's about emotional skill. It just sets this warm, comforting tone right from the start.
To the dish itself. Classic spaghetti with a red tomato sauce. Simple, but, and this is important, the source says it was the grandmother's special recipe.
And the special part wasn't some, secret ingredient from an exotic country.
No.
It was time.
That's it. That is the defining detail in this memory, isn't it? The sauce was cooked for a long, long time. The source specifically says all day.
All day.
Now, I have to ask, does that kind of challenge our simplicity argument a little? I mean, cooking something all day is a huge commitment. That's a complex process.
That's a great question, and it really gets to the heart of this. We have to separate culinary complexity from emotional complexity.
Okay.
The ingredients are simple: tomatoes, garlic, the basics. That's simple. But the process, that's where the dedication is. Simmering a sauce all day is a profound act of commitment.
It's not a shortcut.
Not at all. It chemically changes everything. The acids in the tomatoes mellow out. It becomes this deep, rich, sweet flavor. But more than that, the flavor absorbs the hours of care, the effort. And that is what a child, even subconsciously, tastes as love.
So the simple food is basically a channel, a conduit for this really complex feeling of being cared for, of being prioritized.
Exactly. It's a ritual.
And there was more than just sauce.
Oh, yeah. There were little meatballs. And again, the source notes, they were the perfect size for a 7-year-old boy.
See, that's another detail. It's personalization. It wasn't just a meal she was cooking.
She was cooking his meal
Yeah.
for him. But the real peak, the thing that for a 7-year-old just sends it over the top.
It had to be the cheese.
It was the cheese.
Ah, yes, the source is so clear in this. A huge bowl of grated cheese on the table, and he could have as much as he wanted.
Unlimited cheese. And think about that for a second. That's a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
He remembers his mom saying something about how much he was piling on.
Of course.
And he just hits her with the ultimate defense. It's my birthday.
And it works.
It works. And that's permission. It's permission to be indulgent, to be excessive, to just enjoy something without any guilt. For a kid, that is. That's freedom.
It's exhilarating. It tells him this day is all about you. It shifts the memory from I ate some good spaghetti to I was truly celebrated.
That mountain of cheese is a bigger symbol of love than some expensive gift.
Totally. But as you said earlier, the food is only part of it. What about the emotional context, the whole sensory environment?
This is critical.
Huh.
The source remembers the smell so clearly. The house didn't just smell like tomatoes and garlic. He said it smelled like happiness.
Wow.
And that's not just poetic language. Scent is directly linked to the part of our brain that handles emotion and long-term memory. So that smell of garlic and the sweetness of the slow-cooked tomatoes, it literally created a neural map for him, a map of safety and comfort.
And the people created that map.
The people, the whole family was there. Mom, dad, sister, grandmother, everyone was talking, laughing.
He even remembers his dad telling a funny story and his sister singing a little song.
And that's where it all comes together. The spaghetti provides the amazing smell and taste. But the family atmosphere, that's the real magic ingredient.
It's a space where everyone feels connected.
Exactly. So when you combine that intense flavor that came from hours of love with that feeling of belonging and shared joy, it's not just delicious spaghetti anymore.
It's the ultimate feeling of being loved.
The food becomes a symbol. It's the grandmother's language for saying, "Happy birthday, I love you, I spent my whole day on this for you."
That makes perfect sense. The memory isn't just the taste, it's the whole package. The warmth, the smell, the sounds, that personal indulgence with the cheese. It all comes together.
And that's why it becomes the benchmark, the meal that all other meals are compared to.
Which sets up a really fascinating contrast with our second story.
It really does, because we're moving from this, intense, secure, indoor family setting
Right, the home kitchen.
to something completely different. We're going outside.
A perfect transition. Okay, section 2. The perfect moment. The summertime picnic. This memory is much more recent, just last summer. And the setting couldn't be more different. This shows that the principle holds true, across your whole life.
The contrast is so important here. This environment is totally uncontrolled. It's a big public park, and yet the memory is just as vivid.
The source describes the day itself as perfect.
Yes, the details are so specific.
Warm sun, but not too hot. A little bit of wind, a really blue sky. They found this quiet spot under a big tree on the green grass. I mean, we have to talk about the power of that environment.
Absolutely. It's almost textbook environmental psychology.
Yeah.
Being in a beautiful, natural setting like that, it actually changes your brain chemistry.
It lowers your stress.
It lowers cortisol, it releases serotonin. So when the source says the day was perfect, they're describing a state where their brain was basically primed for a peak experience. The feeling of the sun, the smell of the grass, the sound of the wind, it's all positive input.
And this time, the connection wasn't family, it was friendship, shared with the person's best friend, Sarah, which again just underlines how important it is who you're with.
The type of connection is different, but its importance isn't. The spaghetti was about that deep, foundational family love.
Right.
The picnic is about a different kind of intimacy, a comfortable, easy connection with a peer, sharing simple food in a beautiful place with someone you can be completely yourself with. There's no pressure. It's just contentment.
Okay, let's get to the menu. The picnic basket. The food here was, even simpler than the spaghetti.
Almost no cooking involved at all.
The main thing was a cheese and tomato sandwich. Again, simple, but the details matter. Fresh bread, yellow cheese, and red sweet tomatoes. The friend had a chicken sandwich.
The focus here shifts from preparation to just quality. Freshness is about a simple, perfect ingredient versus a complex, maybe flawed dish.
And they had fruit. Big red strawberries, sweet and juicy, green apple slices that were really crunchy. When food is that simple, it's all about the sensory experience, isn't it?
Completely. That burst of sweetness from a perfect strawberry, the sharp crunch of the apple, it's clean, it's refreshing, it doesn't overwhelm you.
And the drink, cold lemonade, noted as having that perfect balance of sweet and a little bit sour.
Which is such a great metaphor for the whole day, right? The perfect balance.
So that's the central question. How does a plain old cheese sandwich and some fruit become the best food in the world?
How does it beat out a fancy restaurant meal?
I think the source nails it with one word: synergy. The
Yes.
food tasted amazing because of the moment.
That's the pivot point for this whole analysis.
Hmm.
It's the ultimate example of sensory synergy. All the inputs were working together. The warmth from the sun, the fresh air, the beauty of the park, the sound of a friend's laugh.
The source said it felt like all those things went into the food.
It's a beautiful way to put it, and it's neurologically true. Your brain is already flooded with positive signals from the walk, the friendship, the nature.
Yeah.
So it interprets those simple flavors as a total confirmation of the happiness it's already feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The taste is literally enhanced by your emotional state.
So it wasn't that the food is so special, it was that the experience was flawless. Everything just felt right. Magical even. A perfect picture.
And look at the consistency. The intense indoor security of the spaghetti and the relaxed outdoor freedom of the picnic. They were both elevated by the exact same thing: total environmental and emotional harmony.
Okay, so we've broken down these two very different memories. Now let's move to section 3 and try to synthesize this. What is the secret ingredient? The big realization from the sources is that both meals were simple. Pasta at home, a sandwich in a park, not some huge, expensive, fancy thing.
And that simplicity is our first main component. Why is simple food such a good vehicle for memory?
It's a great question.
I think it's because it removes distractions. When you're eating a dish with 14 ingredients, part of your brain is busy trying to identify everything to appreciate the chef's technique.
You're analyzing it.
You're analyzing it. When you eat a perfect tomato, your mind is free to focus completely on the context, the person you're with, the sun on your face. Simple food lets the emotional context become the star of the show.
Which leads right to the second component: love and intent. The sources conclude that these best meals are always about love.
Always. Whether it's the grandmother's all-day effort or the deep friendship that made the picnic happen in the first place.
That's the real secret ingredient.
It is. When food is made or shared with the intention of bringing someone joy, the emotion gets transferred. You don't just remember the taste of the sauce, you remember the feeling of being cherished.
It's why a simple grilled cheese a parent makes for you when you're sick can be a best meal ever. It's not the cheese, it's the comfort.
Its food is an expression of care.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, and that brings us to the third component, which is memory strength. We touched on this, how strong food memories are. Can you break down the brain science on that a little more? Why does the smell of garlic just transport you back in time?
It's all about how the brain is wired. Smell and taste have a sort of bypass. They bypass the brain's normal sensory switchboard and go directly to the centers for memory and emotion, the hippocampus and amygdala.
So it's a direct connection.
A direct, unfiltered connection. So when you smell that specific combination of garlic and slow-cooked tomatoes, your brain doesn't just think sauce. It pulls up the entire emotional file associated with it. Safety, warmth, being 7 years old and celebrated.
Yeah.
Simple, powerful smells create these undeniable emotional anchors.
There was that little bonus story in the sources that I think illustrates this so perfectly. The bread and butter memory.
Oh, we have to talk about that. It's like a perfect mini case study.
It really is. The memory is of a cold winter day, eating warm bread that the dad had just made, served with nothing but butter.
And think about the contrast there. The harsh, cold reality outside the window versus the incredible, immediate warmth of that fresh bread.
And the detail that the butter just melted instantly, that perfect, simple satisfaction.
It's the ultimate comfort. The father's effort is there, just like the grandmother's. Baking bread from scratch is an act of care. And then to get that warm bread on a cold day, it's a physical and emotional shield against the cold.
It's like a hug in food form.
It's exactly what it is. It's a tangible feeling of safety. And that's why it becomes a core memory.
So when we put all three of these together, the spaghetti, the picnic, and the bread and butter, what's the big takeaway?
That the food itself is really just the container for the emotion.
The vessel.
The vessel. The meal becomes this special memory that you keep for your whole life. We don't remember the calories. We remember the context, the connection, the love. The food is just the delivery system for that emotional payload.
So we've dived into two very different stories that are, at their core, telling us the exact same thing. The meals we cherish most, the ones we call the best ever, aren't defined by how much they cost or how complicated they are. They're defined by simple food being elevated by a complex, loving context.
It's the shared moment that makes it unforgettable. And what's so great about this is that it's universal. Everyone eats. Everyone has a story like this.
It connects us.
It proves the value of a meal isn't in the ingredients, it's in the connection.
Okay, so we want to leave you with one final thought to think about, to apply what we've unpacked today. If food really is a language, a way to communicate without words, what simple food would you use right now?
Yeah, what would you use to say, I love you, or I remember that amazing day we had?
Think about the memory, not just the recipe.
And reflect on your own magic meal. What was it that made it so special? Was it the food, the place? Or was it the person you shared that perfect, simple moment with? Because that, as we've learned today, is the true secret ingredient.